Welcome to the Furlo Capital Real Estate Podcast, where we dive into the intricacies of passive real estate investing. And our mission is to equip people to invest wisely in both people and properties so that together we can build our wealth while improving housing. I'm James, and this is my wife, Jessie.
Hi, I'm here.
You're
a little
here?
tired, but I'm here.
All right, well, if that's the case, we're going to move fast so that you can go to bed. That's totally cool.
Speed talk.
Yeah, so what I want to talk about is a house that we have under contract.
Yay!
Yeah!
Woo!
Yeah, super exciting. So I've once again partnered with an awesome guy. His name is Lawrence.
Yep.
Hey, Lawrence, I know you're listening. I don't know if he's number one fan, but I think he's up there.
Yeah, as he should be.
Yeah.
This program's incredible.
Exactly. And so anyways, we got a house, and it's under contract, and we're trying to sell it.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah, that's the goal. So let me tell you a little bit about it. So the number one question that I've gotten so far from people is simply, how did you get this deal?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what people ask you the most?
Yeah.
Huh.
Why? What would you ask
I
if
would.
I were like...
Yeah,
Maybe
what would I
you
ask?
know me too well, but...
It's probably because I know too much.
Okay.
But I might ask how much was it? And how much do you need to raise? And how much is it going to sell for? I want the details. But I'm a detail person.
Well,
that kind of makes sense. Like, how'd you find it?
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I think part of the issue is most people, they just don't know about all the different ways, which honestly, my story is really boring, which is there's another guy who called us and said, hey, I got this lead. Could be good. You should give him a call.
Yeah. So
we did.
Word of mouth? Is that
a little WOM? Yeah.
Kind of?
Kind of.
I mean, do you put out feelers?
No, what do you mean?
I just in the sense of you're working with your partner and he knows other people. So I'm sure you've talked with people and been like, hey, we're looking for places.
Yes.
So it's one of those people who has connection with you of sorts.
Yeah, he knows that we're looking for pretty much anything.
Right.
And so I've reached out to individual brokers.
Yeah.
And we have called people, and there's just other wholesaler types of folks that are out there who we've talked to, and
that kind of makes sense. It might be a deal that doesn't work for them, but they know it might work for you.
Which in this case, that's what happened.
Cool.
So let me give you some quick stats of this property.
I love stats.
So let's see. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath.
Pretty classic.
It's 1,600 square feet.
Okay.
So far normal, but it is on 0.4 acres, which is a little bit bigger than normal.
That's bigger. I was thinking in my head, wow, that sounds small, but I don't know what the average acreage is for it.
What is our house? Do you know that answer?
It's a corner lot, so I was thinking it was more like 0.6 or more.
0.6 or more. Dang, that's a lot. I think
we have quite a lot of.
Let's see here. If I were to go to Zillow, which is what I just did, public view. Let's see. Ours is only 1,200 square feet.
What?
I know. That doesn't seem right, does it?
No.
But
12. Okay, the entire lot?
No, the house. This other one. So okay.
The house seems right.
Okay, I can get lot size in square feet, not in.
Where's this AI?
Oh my gosh.
Let's get to convert.
Okay, all right, good question. So 91. See, this is 9,147. How many acres are in these many square feet? Ba-ba-da-ba! Our house is only 0.2.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's twice as big as and I would say our house is pretty normal. So it's a good sized lot.
So twice the size of our lot.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you said the house is 1,600 square feet?
Yes. So the house is bigger.
It has a yard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's got a nice sized yard. It also has a shop on it.
Oh.
And in addition to the 2-car garage.
Okay.
So
cool.
It's big. It was built in 1958, so it's a little bit older, but it's not crazy old. Yeah. And I don't think there's anything else it's one level. And it's telling me the dimensions of the primary bedroom. That's cool. It's got appliances. Yes, sure. It has, it's got a ton of stuff listed here. Cool. Oh yeah, lot size square feet is 17,860. So ours was 9,100.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's yeah,
interesting. It is big.
Twice as big, almost.
Cool.
So it's an interesting property. It's got some, I don't know how to describe it. It's not necessarily a fixer-upper, but it is. It's not like your classic fixer-upper.
Okay.
Where it's like, we need to repaint everything, we need to redo the flooring, we got to redo all the... It's not a gut, I guess. Maybe that's the right way to say it.
I don't know if I would call that what you just described a gut either, though. Like, are you tearing down walls and, like, remodeling things?
Potentially. Like that. No, we're not going to. But, like, that was... So, typically with a flip...
Yeah.
You're going in and saying, we're going to redo the floors, we're going to repaint the walls, we're going to replace cabinets.
So everything cosmetic.
And fixtures. And yeah, and in some cases, we're going to tear down walls and redo layout type of stuff.
Yeah, if it's
you might replace all of
bad.
the plumbing to bring it up to PEX and ABS.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
But
like
that's not this house.
Not this house. This is more cosmetic. So like, for example, he tiled the bathroom floor, but then didn't caulk and trim the edges. So it just looks unfinished.
Yeah. So you would just finish it?
Yeah. And there's just a bunch of little things like that, which for whatever reason, you just didn't do it. And so I think it's a great project for someone who's new.
Okay.
Because there's nothing huge.
So you want to, you've bought it, or you have it under contract.
It's under contract.
And so you want to find a buyer who's willing to do all those projects.
Yes.
And so you'll just
so there's a couple different business models that you could do with this property. You could buy it, hold on to it, fix it up, or you could buy it, fix it up, and then either resell it. You could buy it, fix it up, hold on to it, and rent it out.
That's what we typically have done.
Or you find someone else who wants to buy it, fix it up, and either sell it or rent it out.
And those are all called flips. Well,
no.
Buy and hold is the one where you hold on to it.
Yeah.
Wholesale
flip,
is the one where you...
So there's different terms. So you have a buy and hold, which is I am going to buy and hold it for a long time. That's the one where I'm going to buy it, fix it up, and rent it out. You then have a flip. That's the version where I buy it, fix it up, and then resell it. It's usually less than a year. So kind of like, and a lot of people are like, hopefully less than 3 months. And then you have what's more like a wholesale, which is I'm going to buy it and then immediately sell it to somebody else who will then do one of those other two or whatever strategies.
Sure.
Yeah, so they're technically different names. And I think in this particular case, the game plan, the business model we're going to go after is to do the wholesale. So ideally, we buy it and really, really close to after we close on the property, we resell it to someone else. And in a perfect world, that will be on the same day. Because then I don't have to raise any funds. And just kind of transfer to the next person. In an unperfect world, there might be a lag in that. And part of it depends on who you're going for. Right? There are...
as a buyer?
Yeah. Like, for example, if I'm going for what I would call a retail investor, I think that's how you and we started out. We're like, we're buying something that's kind of it's for a buy and hold. We don't necessarily have a lot of these. We don't have a lot of volume. We're going to live in it, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like, that's a retail investor. And then you have someone who's not that. I can't think of what the other term would be.
Commercial investor?
Yeah, professional.
Professional,
that doesn't sound right either. I don't know. Which is, I would say, is more in the camp that I'm in now, which
so
not
they
buying
might
MLS, but
but a different investor could buy it and do the flip model where they fix it and then sell it, or you just get a family, and they're like, we want to fix it up and stay here. We're not going to rent it out or anything. It's
totally an option. So that's what we're doing. Kind of exciting, and it's fun. So there's a second type of the project that we've done. If you remember, the one that we're currently right in the middle of was that pre-foreclosure, where it was this guy who was going to go to auction in a couple of weeks, and so we were able to come in and say, hey, instead of losing everything, we can help you get at least a little bit of cash and help you find a new place. Which, by the way, that project's going on really well right now.
Still moving forward.
Cool. I think we're gonna probably a little over a month we'll be closed and be done with that project altogether, which is exciting.
Because you already have a buyer for that one.
Yes, and we just recently got the seller a new place to move into, and we've already done one of the big repairs. Like the roof is now done. And we've done a few other things. So
for this new property, what's the plan for like timing, I guess, with the seller?
Yeah, so we said it was a 5-week close period.
Okay.
Because interestingly, he had it listed on the market.
Oh.
And didn't like it for whatever reason.
He didn't like the listing? Or?
Well, he didn't like working with agents is kind of the vibe that I've got. And so he ended up pulling it, which is probably how it landed on my radar.
Interesting.
And so he's like, I just want to be done. And he just wants to move out of Oregon. That's his big goal. He wants to buy a fifth wheel, live next to his brother on his brother's land.
Yeah.
And just kind of, it's like in Oklahoma or something out Midwest.
Interesting.
He's like, I'm done with Oregon. Yeah, I get it. It rains a lot. And so that's his plan. And he got tired of dealing with agents and was like, I'm just ready to sell and just be done.
Super interesting.
And apparently he did get an offer from someone for a higher price, but they were like, you have to move out in a week. And he's not a hoarder, but he has a significant amount of stuff.
Oh.
And moving in a week was just not an option.
Much.
Yeah. And so by us...
Oh, interesting. So you're going to give him the time that he needs to do a slow move.
He had an injury, and so he's moving a little bit slower than he used to as well. And so he needs that extra time. And so we can give that to him.
Makes sense.
And so for us, because typically what you'd say is like, sounds good, let's do a quick close. We'll raise the funds to do this, and then we'll own it, and we'll go in and we'll clean it up, maybe do some of those other repairs, and then resell it. But in this case, since we had the extra time, the mind goes, well, let's just do a wholesale. Because if I don't have to raise the funds, that means I don't have to pay investors any interest, which means I can ultimately sell it for a lower price and sell it faster. Like it's more win-win-ish that way.
Makes sense.
But yeah, kind of just, I don't know, man, it's super, I really like talking with just regular homeowner folks. Because I feel like in some ways I'm helping to solve real problems.
Yeah.
You know, it's talking with other investors. It's super fun, and I enjoy going over the numbers. But I'm also like, that's what we're doing, right? Where they have a business and they're selling me the business, and it feels more like we're haggling over the value.
You're
of the
in
business.
negotiations. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas these conversations, I mean, negotiations absolutely happen.
That's true.
But it's more of this, okay, you have a problem. Here's how I can help you solve it. And price isn't always the number one thing. Like with an investor, they're always like, how do I maximize my return? That's the question. Whereas this guy, he's more like, how do I move out of Oregon with dignity?
Right.
You know, they're fundamentally different things.
I wonder if he, was not having a good time working with realtors because they were trying to like maximize the price or
maybe
get the best, value or something. And he was just like, that's not what I want.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's the other thing that I really like about this is I'm working directly with homeowners. I'm not working through an agent. And so I like those conversations just a little bit more.
It's interesting. It's like an unseen, it's not something necessarily that you anticipated when you started down this track, a while ago.
Right.
I mean, I never remember having that conversation where you're like, man, I can't wait to talk to homeowners. I'm like, really help them solve problems. That's just kind of like, okay. I can, Yeah. That is a neat piece of the puzzle of doing it this way.
Yeah. So the way that we've financed this one is complicated, to say the least. I seem to be attracted to the more complicated finance types of deals.
Of course.
Which is fine. I was talking with a friend the other night, and he was like, it must be pretty wild playing Monopoly with you.
Oh. I'm glad that other people can kind of pick up on that, because yes, it is. Whoever that is, yes, I can confirm.
Yeah, I don't...
James Wheels and Deals.
100%. Yeah, I don't play just the cash game for certain. So in this particular case, he was originally asking $420,000 for it, which is probably the right range for this particular property with this particular condition and features and things like that, size. But I didn't want to pay that for obvious reasons, because that doesn't help with my business model. And so one of the things that I've learned to do, and this is from a book called Never Split the Difference, is from that book, there's a concept that's called grounding. This is pretty typical for any sort of real estate transaction, which is wherever number happens first, that becomes like, that grounds all the other conversations afterwards. And so what they'll tell you is we want to ground with a very low number. So
if you're buying,
let's see, if we're, what's something that you don't necessarily have a lot of knowledge about?
Scuba diving equipment.
I have
no idea why that popped into my head.
Let's roll with that.
I have no idea how much it costs.
So if I told you scuba diving equipment is probably not $10,000, and I said, like, how much do you think it would cost now?
Less than 10,000.
Yeah, like how much? Like,
I don't. $1,000.
Okay, interesting. What if now the way that they do these studies is they'll say scuba diving equipment is probably a little bit more than $100. How much do you think it would cost? And interestingly, answers will be like, I don't know, like maybe $600.
Yeah, I would say a few hundred. Had you told me.
Yeah. And so that's the value of grounding, because you tend to bias your answer close to whatever it was grounded by.
Oh.
Interesting. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
even though you know it's not that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the assumption is like it's around.
Yeah.
Like, why in the world would you throw out a number that's like, it's $3 million? It's like, well, obviously it's not.
Yeah, and that's one of the tricks about grounding is like it has to be within that realm.
It has to be believable.
Semi-believable.
Yeah.
But even like the $100, like, well, clearly not.
Right.
But you're also like, so that's this idea of grounding, and people use it in negotiations all the time.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've learned from the book Never Split the Difference is that it also works if you don't give a number. You can do what's called emotional grounding. Right? So you might say, let's use the scuba diving equipment. You own some equipment and you want to sell it to me, and I'm going to make you an offer. I could potentially say, like, well, I get that it's probably worth more than $100. Right? I'm grounding you, and you're kind of setting you up for like, okay, it's going to be a low offer. An alternative option would say, so I don't think you're going to like what I'm going to offer you. It's a pathetically low offer because that's all I can afford. And I'm concerned that I'm probably going to insult you in this because you're going to go like, seriously, why are you even wasting my time right now?
I would already think that if you were giving me the line.
Right? So you are now primed to be like, all right,
yeah.
How low is he going to go here?
Yeah.
You know? And so then whatever answer I give, chances are, which, could be in that like $600 range, you'd be like, oh, okay, like,
it's not as low.
I don't
want
to punch you in the face low, so cool. And so that's the idea, is emotional grounding. Or another way to say it is like extreme labeling, how I think you will react to it.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that was what I did with this guy. He was asking for $420, and I very much was like, dude. I mean, I think at one point in time I joked about, like, I'm like, you don't have any guns around, right? Like I do not want to get chased off your property.
Oh, my word.
Do it at that, and by the time I did that, and I kept going.
Yeah.
And finally I was like, dude, just tell me the number already. Like, it's okay. It'll be fine. Just tell it to me. I was like, all right. He's set for it. And so I offered him $335,000 for it, which is
significantly lower.
Yeah. And his first reaction was like, no, that's just not going to work. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I get it. And so then we sat around the table. We started talking a little bit more, and we just asked some more questions. I was like, okay, well, tell us more about the financing. Like, what are you looking to get out of it? What do you need the cash for? Like, what are you actually going to be doing? And he was like, well, I'd like to get $100,000 cash up front so that he can buy the fifth wheel and have just some flexibility to do some other things. He goes, but he also has this mortgage that's existing for $160,000. So that gets you to $260. So he's like, and then we can do the balance. He goes, I'm willing to take back a note for whatever that balance is. Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, that's intriguing. And so we were talking, and at one point in time, that was when he shared the whole, like, well, there's this guy, he made an offer at $390, but I had to move out in a week, and I didn't do it. And so I came back and was like, okay, so that means if you had more time, you'd be okay with $390? He was like, yeah, I'd probably be okay with that. Right. And so I was like, okay, cool. And we just kind of kept talking, and finally he was like, okay, look, if you offer me like $350 right here, right now, I'd take it. I was like, whoa, that was quite the jump from $420 to $390 to $350. And I didn't have my spreadsheet in front of me, and I'm like, I'm a spreadsheet guy. And so I didn't have enough sensitivity, like analysis in my head to be like, oh, can I make this work? And so I told him, I was like, all right, we're now in my ballpark. So let me go run some more numbers, figure out what can happen. So like one of the things so that's what I did. And one of the things that we learned was that you could split this lot, turn it into two, because it's interesting. It's like twice as big as ours.
Yeah.
Or you could build an ADU in the back.
Okay.
And a nice size one, because there's
so that adds a lot of value.
Totally. So that's where I came back and said, all right, so this property could be worth a lot once it's all done. Now, splitting's not too hard, but building an ADU, like, that's like $150,000 investment to do it. So like, it's not insignificant, but it could be worth a lot. And so we came back to him, and I once again was like, all right, like, I've done the research. I'm not quite going to get to where you want to be. So, so here we are again, like more of that, like I'm emotionally grounding him low. And he was like, and again, he was like, I get it.
Just tell me.
I already told you 350. So we can't be that far off. Where are you at? So I came back at 340 and said, I only want to give you $60,000 cash and do a note for the rest of it. And thankfully we started talking about, well, how much cash does he actually want? So I was like, okay, this is good. This is a good sign, because he's okay with his price. And now we're talking about how much cash he needs. Ultimately we landed on, we first landed on 60,000. And then ultimately he came back later and was like, I need the 100,000. Just because like I got enough unknowns, and I totally get that. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to buy this property subject to the existing mortgage of $160,000. He's going to give us a note for $80,000, and then we will give him $100,000 cash in 5-ish. Well, by the time this is published, it'll be less than 5 weeks. But
interesting.
That was how we structured it.
And the hope is that you don't have to raise any funds because you find a buyer. Yeah. Who they're going to pay the $100,000. Assume the mortgage. And make payments on the note?
It depends on who we sell it to. I think if it's a retail investor, that term again, they will bring their own financing, because they're going to move into it. They're going to do 5% down and get a loan for the rest of it. In which case, that'll just wipe out all of that stuff. Yeah. And we almost don't care about the subject to piece anymore.
Interesting.
Because it'll just go away.
Even the seller's note?
Well, so here's what we're doing with that one. We are personally guaranteeing that note is not going to be directly tied to the property.
Interesting.
So even if we sell it right away, we will still have that note with him, because it was really important to him that didn't get paid off right away. He wanted to earn some interest over time from it. And so that's what we'll do. So even if we sell it like that same day, we'll still give him a note for that $80,000. It'll just be cash sitting in our account.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you won't use it?
Well, I might. I got 5 years. So the plan would be to use it to reinvest it into another property and earn
even more, so that you can pay him back. And
that's the deal.
Seems.
And I keep coming up with a bunch of.
It seems risky, but.
Yeah, maybe.
I just how much do you pile or keep doing that before you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so leveraged?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I mean, it would just be like we would spread it across a couple different projects, would be my guess. So like, for example, one of the things that I'm going to go check out tomorrow is an auction with the city of Albany. And
on a single family home?
No, actually I'm just looking that day, and all they have is land. But if there was a single family home, I would go to the auction, and I would know that I could bid up to, well, not even $80,000, because I want to save some money for repairs. But like, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, I could totally bid up to, let's say, I don't know,
50 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And I would use part of the funds for that, and then, or I may actually spend the whole 80 to buy the property and then raise funds to do the repairs. Potentially.
But then you still have to have money to make payments to the guy.
Yeah, that's true.
So
$333 a month.
Yeah.
Is my payment to him.
Huh.
Yeah.
For 5 years, and then you just pay it off.
Yep. So that's part of when we kind of hit that 4-year mark, it's like, okay, like, stop recycling this money. Let's put that into an account and just be ready to pay him off.
I think that is one of the benefits of working with you, which kind of scares me, but is also a good thing, is you're willing to structure things differently. I think most investors or banks or, traditional lending financing places are like, no, this is going to be very like straightforward and we're going to play it by the book. And you're like, no, I'm willing to, if the guy wants his money to come over time and he gets interest, like, sure, let's see what that looks like. And so you're willing to make things a little bit more complicated, but it's more of a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I think I've got enough experience and I've got enough education where I would say my like real estate investing IQ or acumen is very high, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
And so I can handle this kind of level of complication. Yeah. Whereas like the normal person, they got a regular life. They're not doing what I'm doing. They don't read investment articles and books for the fun of it.
Right.
and figure out, all right, how do I optimize a capital stack? Like,
sure.
I don't know, like I got kids I'm gonna go play with,
Yep.
And so it doesn't.
I mean, that's very much me too. I'm just like,
ugh. Though part of what I'm learning is the trick is to also like, how do I communicate this well to other investors in such a way where they don't go, what in the world?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, so trying to work out that part of it too.
Yeah, how you just explained that was good. I was able to follow all in track.
Yeah. So we're I think I'm okay with sharing this. So I kind of so we've got our purchase price, which is different than the total cost, but our purchase price, and which is that $340 that we've landed on. And what we've been telling people is that we're willing to resell it for $380, unless they're able to close like on that same closing date. Then we'd sell it for $370.
Okay.
And we'd have some additional costs in there, closing costs and some other stuff in there. So you can't just quite do that math and go, oh, wow, James is making a ton of money. It's like, well, we'll make some money, but it's not like a bazillion dollars.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so nice. But no. But yeah, man, I'm super excited about it. So it's just kind of fun. Cool. We got another property. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. We should do a check-in once it's kind of all said and done. Like, okay, here's how it actually went down and here's what the other person's doing. And I think by us, I mean, here's the important part. By us pricing it at like that 380 mark, if this place was fully fixed up, like they did those finishing things that I was talking about, it's going to be worth like 460, 465, somewhere in there. Yeah. Pretty easily, especially with that lot. And if they split the lot, then that could actually goose it up an additional $100,000. Wow. Because you just have that, like, you have land, which is worth something. And maybe that might be a little optimistic. It might be like 75,000. But still, right? Like, yeah, that's significant. And it's not free to split the lot, so there's whatever. There's costs there. Sure. But it's one of those where it's a very it would be a win for whoever buys it at that price range, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. And now if anyone listens to this, they're like, I'm super interested, they'll be like, James, I offer you $345. Which part of my thinking is like, if someone's able to come in and buy it and we are able to do the double close, awesome. But if not, we'll just raise the funds and we'll go then through and we'll trash it out. We'll do the initial cleaning. We'll fix a few things and just get it a whole lot closer to that 465 value and then sell it appropriately on the open market. It'll be cool. So yeah, man.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, that's the plan. It's kind of fun. Well, there you go. That's our property. We'll see what happens.
Awesome.
So if you enjoyed listening to this episode, we totally appreciate that you did enjoy it. And we would also appreciate it if you left a review wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. And if you are interested in investing with us and learning more about what that means, check us out online at furlo.com. Have a great day.